My name is Rachel Jenkins, and I'm a transportation planner at the North Central Texas Council of Governments. I work on the transit management and planning team, and my colleagues and I are responsible for updating the Regional Public Transportation Coordination Plan, Access North Texas. NCTCOG is focused on transportation choice, and this plan allows us to compile the information we need to make that possible. Other than being a federal requirement, updating this plan helps us to understand and address the need for transit service in our region. It ensures we can do the most to improve transit, even through limited funding. Each of you here are our partners in this effort to improve transportation options in your communities, and we can't do it without you. Here's what we plan to cover today. First, we're going to have an introduction to what the North Central Texas Council of Governments actually is. Then we'll go a little bit deeper into what the Access North Texas plan is. We'll discuss the 2018 update and what was included in that. And then we'll also discuss some examples from the 2018 update and how that was implemented in the region. Then we'll talk about the progress towards updating the plan for 2022, our outreach efforts, and then we'll provide you with our contact information. So for those of you not familiar, the North Central Texas Council of Governments is a voluntary association of local governments established to assist local governments in planning for common needs, cooperating for mutual benefit, and coordinating for sound regional development. Our departments include community services, emergency preparedness, environment and development, public affairs, research and information services, transportation, workforce development, and each department provides assistance to local governments in their respective area of expertise. The transportation department in particular plans for both highways and transit. And plans range from short, 3, 5, and 10 years to long-term plans, which range over 20 years. The Transportation Department also serves as the lead agency for developing and implementing the Regional Public Transportation Coordination Plan, which in our region, as we've mentioned, is known as Access North Texas. Access North Texas is a plan to coordinate public transportation services and human services transportation. Through this process, we'll assess available transportation services and strive to identify additional transportation providers. It's also an assessment of transportation needs of older adults, for individuals with disabilities, and for low-income individuals as well. We use it to prioritize recommendations for limited federal and state funding. This requires that we work with transportation disadvantaged individuals and their advocates to improve transportation options and coordinate existing service. The plan is not a source of unlimited funding, and it's not a transportation service. It's not a detailed feasibility study, and it's not focused on highways and congestion. Alternatively, it's actually focused on accessibility. And finally, it does not dictate requirements for service and activities. Instead, it relies on local input, local conditions, and local leadership to guide coordination efforts. So let's take a closer look at the previously adopted plan from 2018. In 2018, there were 14 outreach meetings, and we received feedback from over 2,300 individuals, both in person and through our survey. Many of the agencies in this room were actively involved in that process, and we're asking you to continue to be involved. The plan was developed locally and collaboratively through the participation of transportation providers, transit customers, advocates, local government representatives, and health and human service agencies. It includes regional and county-specific public transportation strategies for the region, including all 16 counties. So strategies on a regional level were prioritized into 8 different groups summarized here. First strategy is that in areas with no public transit service, we would assess the community needs and implement transit. Secondly, we'd expand projects that have a no wrong door approach. Then we'd create partnerships to simplify regional trips. We'd explore partnerships to increase the affordability of fares. We'd work towards uniform regional fares, integrate funding sources to maximize efficiency and increase affordability, utilize non-traditional partnerships to deliver public transportation, and recruit and educate influential champions for public transit. So now I'm going to give you some information on where we are today by highlighting some of the projects across the region that have been successfully implemented since Access North Texas was adopted in 2018. First is the City of Arlington via rideshare service. This began as a small pilot service around the entertainment district and has since had multiple updates to expand service and cover most of the City of Arlington. Trips are booked through an on-demand app, and drivers will pick up in a nearby location. Based on the Access North Texas plan priorities, this project helps address 2 regional strategies, including that in areas with no public transit service, access needs and implement transit, and also utilize non-traditional partnerships to deliver public transportation. Then there's the DART, expanding use of GoPass and implementation of their discount program for low-income riders. This app, the GoPass app, initially launched through a sandbox grant and has been used by the transit authorities to allow riders to purchase tickets. Recently, DART has been coordinating with local agencies such as Star Transit and Trinity Metro to license and expand the use of the application. Also, DART has implemented a discount GoPass tap card pilot to make their fares more affordable for riders. To be eligible, riders would need to provide proof of participation in any of the qualifying assistance programs. They can take DART bus and/or trains for half the regularly priced fares, and the system will automatically monitor and cap daily and monthly fares for the riders. So based on the Access North Texas Plan for priorities, this project helps address 2 regional strategies as well. They include expanding projects that have no wrong door approach and exploring partnerships to increase the affordability of fares. Then there's Myride North Texas 2.0. As part of the FTA's Innovative Coordinated Access and Mobility 2018 Pilot Program Grant, the North Texas Council of Governments was awarded funding to implement Myride North Texas 2.0, a regional mobility management program to improve the coordination of transportation services and expand travel navigation. It implemented a regional 1-800 line so residents can reach travel navigators who can provide transit information for their area. And we've also been coordinating quarterly regional mobility managers meetings to discuss transit issues and connect partners across the region. Based on the Access North Texas Plan priorities, this project helps address 2 regional strategies as well. These include expanding projects that have a no wrong door approach and utilizing non-traditional partnerships to deliver public transportation. So here's a timeline of our process to update the plan. We're currently in phase 1, public outreach. We want to make sure that the needs of the entire region are fully represented in the plan, and we need everyone's feedback to do so. So this is the most important phase. But other phases of the process will include data analysis and mapping, developing strategies and draft chapters, public comment on the completed draft chapters and strategies, and then finally releasing the actual update. So there are several ways for you to get involved in this process and provide your feedback. You can participate in one or multiple of these options depending on your preference. First, please consider joining us for one of our county-specific virtual public meetings. Each of the upcoming meetings and their corresponding registration links can be found on our website, accessnorthtexas.org. Second is the Access North Texas survey. We have separate surveys for members of the public and agency organization representatives. The public survey is also available in both English and Spanish. Please plan to fill out the survey yourself as soon as possible and then share it with your networks. Even if someone does not attend a meeting, their feedback is very valuable to our efforts. Finally, there's the Map Your Experience tool. This is an online map that allows users to select the location of the feedback they're giving. For instance, if you know that you or a client are having trouble reaching a particular destination by public transit, you can select that location directly on the map and write a comment to let us know. This tool is really great because it really helps us pinpoint needs with a lot of location clarity. And as a reminder, information for all 3 outreach opportunities can be found on our website, accessnorthtexas.org. So finally, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to us at any time. We do have an official Access North Texas email address that you can see on the screen, or you can call the Transportation Department using the phone number listed there as well. I've also included the names and email addresses for myself and the rest of my colleagues working on the plan. Also, if you're interested in scheduling a private meeting with any of us to discuss you or your client's transportation needs, we'd be more than happy to do that. Please reach out to us. Thank you.